You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
Stuff your sorries in a sack, mister.
I thought it was there.
Congratulations! You've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Trucker Andy, and with me, as always, is your co-host, Joe Sixpack. Joe,
hey,
how are you
everybody? March 9th, Comedy at the Carlson. Andy, I was just watching the title screen of the show come in, and we have all the different celebrity faces moving around. We got to reach out to Shuli and get all of the Stuttering John derp faces for the live show, and like we can have like all the different stupid faces that he makes fly in and have a custom made intro for the live show. March 9th, Comedy at the Carlson, Subreddit Surfing Live, everybody, featuring All Apologies podcast and Carl Hamburger doing stand-up. It's coming up quick. I'm getting real pumped up about it.
Yes.
We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be good. But in the meantime, Andy, it was a pretty good week of apologies, or at least hot topics. Let's get into some of the hot topics.
Okay.
How about this?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, and you're right. It was an interesting week. And speaking of All Apologies Live, we have the subject of that episode in our mini-sode today. Stuttering John was demanding an apology from Vince the lawyer. Let's have a look at clip 1 there, Ed.
Let's work this out. Maybe I will. But then he's got to apologize. Don't fucking go on your show, say you went through my pants, say you went through my luggage, and then go on your show again and say I didn't have any luggage and I never took my pants off, and which I disproven because I did, and there's no way you could have went to the bathroom. And I watched you get up, Vince. I don't sleep that fucking heavy. And I saw you get up and go into that bathroom. And when you went into that bathroom, there's no way you can get to the toilet without stepping or passing over my pants. Because they were right in the middle of the floor where I always leave them.
What a class act.
I can't believe Vince was sleeping in the same room as John.
I like to pretend they were sleeping in the same bed together. But John just refuses to understand that Vince is trolling him constantly. And I don't understand it either, actually, to invest that much money into embarrassing a drunk
loser.
Yeah, it's concerning to me that all that money could be going to Vince's kids. I don't know why he's pissing it away on John.
Well, I believe that Vince has money. You know, this is disposable income for him. I don't doubt that for a second. But just because you have the money to do it, I don't know why you would put yourself. Well, I mean, I heard somebody saying multiple accounts of Stuttering John smells, like anybody who like came into close contact with him saying that he stinks or whatever. He just said he doesn't take his pants off a lot because he doesn't shower a lot. He sleeps in his clothes and gets up and goes to the pub the next day.
Yeah. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, Joe, but I kind of invented that version of trolling Stuttering John. If you'll remember, I was one of the first people to buy a cameo from John, and I peppered in all the inside jokes about WATP into it. And then
regret life.
Yeah, yes. I regret life at one point. Yeah. And that's all to get John to take people's lunch money and eat worms. That's the his whole business model now.
Yeah, I didn't love that whole Vegas or Atlantic City thing. Is just like the man will humiliate himself. You don't have to orchestrate humiliation for him. You don't have to put the bucket of pig's blood over his head on the stage. He'll fall off the stage on his own. You don't have to try any harder.
Yeah. That's what's so great about him is he has one of the worst shows on the internet, hands down. He can't host a show. He can't produce and research a show. He can't speak. He can't wash
Care.
himself. Yeah.
Get a tissue.
Yeah. All that to say that March 9th is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
But also in the news was this tragic shooting in the parking lot of a Walmart. This one, it's fucked up because it defies common sense. This poor dude is just running errands, and then this accident. Accidents happen in the parking lot.
He was like, oh.
Yeah, so he had a fender bender and gets shot in the face and killed. Let's have a look at the clip, Ed.
A suspect is in court today for allegedly shooting and killing a California grandfather. The entire tragedy started over a fender bender. Jonathan Mock was backing up in a Walmart parking lot and accidentally bumped the suspect's car. Jonathan tried to apologize, but the suspect allegedly pulled out her gun and shot him in the face.
Right. And it's asinine because everybody knows that you're on camera the entire time. From the second you pull into the parking lot to the second you leave the parking lot, it's all being recorded. So to think that you were ever going to get away with it, they have you on camera showing up and buying whatever you want. They have your license plate. They have the whole incident on camera. So there's zero chance that Shantice Marie is getting away with this.
I don't know. I mean, they show you their pictures and everything, but we don't, to your point, it's on camera, but we don't get to see the altercation. I mean, for all we know, the guy was acting like a lunatic, scaring the shit out of her. I don't know. But killing people in a parking lot over a fender bender is not, acceptable, obviously. But did they say where that happened? Where in the world?
Oh, I'm sure they did. I didn't include it. I don't,
because you do. We've also seen we've seen in Philly though. I've seen footage of Philly of just like teenagers just running out into the middle of the street, stopping cars, and then just like jumping on top of the cars and everything like that. You're going to get yourself killed. Like, you will do that to the wrong person at some point, and they will get out and be within their rights to just start blowing everyone away because you think it's a funny prank. And what you think is funny is scaring the ever-loving shit out of somebody else. So these things are better left to the authorities. Stay in your car. Call the police. That's scary shit.
I don't care. They're on their phones on TikTok live streaming it. Say, hey, I'm about to shoot this guy in the face. Smash that like button because ramen ain't free on the inside. I need money on my commissary. Super chat it.
Yeah, nobody's putting money on their commissary. The other thing that scares the shit out of me is people who I was watching this one guy walk down, Hollywood Boulevard, or, he's in Compton, and he's just like flexing on passersby, like people that clearly look like they're gang members, and like acting, like he's gonna take them on. I'm like, you're going to get yourself killed over trying to create content for social media. This is scary. It's just like, you're scaring me, dude. For you, I'm scared for you.
People are just mentally ill. People just walk down the street. I mean, it happens in when I was working in the city. This guy is just walking down the street with his shirt off, picking a fight with everybody that's coming towards him.
The Walmart thing was in California, it says.
Yeah, okay. Surprised it wasn't Missouri.
Right.
Moving on, we all remember the Super Bowl when Robert Kennedy Jr. decided that he was going to throw his hat into the ring for the presidency. And this ad cost $7 million to air. And it looks like they spent all of the money on the time slot and none on the production. I guess it's supposed to look like John F. Kennedy's ad campaign, but
right.
It
looks like a jib jab of Saddam Hussein in South Park flapping head on an ad from the 60s or some shit like that.
president who's seasoned through and through. A man who's old enough to know and young enough to do. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. American Idol 2024 is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
I don't know. If he wasn't a lunatic, I'd vote for him, but it's got, the budget of Kennedy, but none of the charisma of getting laid by Marilyn Monroe. Nobody's fucking that guy.
The good thing about that ad is you don't have to hear his voice. Whatever, he roasted his vocal cords, like doing autoerotic asphyxiation or some shit at some point.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what happened to his voice, but he sounds fucked up. Nobody will vote for him. Nobody will vote for him just because of his voice.
Probably still speaks better than Biden, though.
Yeah, everyone does. My dog does.
The craziest part was somebody else had a similar idea. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but Kanye, did the same thing where he spent all of his money on a spot and no budget on creating an ad. He just went on TikTok and tried to sell shoes. And we have that clip here too.
Hey y'all, this Ye, and this is my commercial. And since we spent all the money on the commercial spot, we actually didn't spend any money on the actual commercial. But the idea is, I want you to go to Yeezy.com, YEEZY.com, and I'm gonna write it at the bottom of the screen. And I got some shoes, and that's it.
What? Where is he?
He seems like he's in the back of a police drunk tank. He sounds drunk. He sounds like a slow adult now.
It's that's like one of Ryan Reynolds' Mint Mobile commercials where he's like, "We don't have any budget, so it's just me standing here."
I think he got a grill that doesn't fit in his mouth because he sounds like an idiot.
Yeah. And the Yeezys are overpriced still. Even with the anti-Semitism, they're still overpriced.
Yeah. How many pairs of Yeezys do you have to sell to make up that money that you spent on this Super Bowl ad?
Well, it's not like, I mean, just for anybody who might be slightly out of the loop or something, it was on social media that he bought that ad space, not on broadcast television during the Super Bowl. Right? Well, those ads are millions and millions of dollars, and that would be. I would actually start liking Kanye again if that popped up, during between the first and second quarter on network television. And he came out, he's like, "Buy my shoes." I would be like, "Sold. Give me. I'll take some Yeezys and then the $400 gold Trump sneakers that just dropped." Did you see that shit?
Yeah,
the Trump sneakers.
Now Trump's ripping off Ye.
Yeah, I have gold spray paint too. I'll just make my own. Thanks.
Can you imagine seeing your 63-year-old uncle walking around with those Trump high tops on because he's
his gold shoes and red hat? Yeah,
he's making America great again.
Yeah, and then you just need a red tie that hangs below your genitals. That's 6 inches wide.
Are they really
fucking clown?
Are they really selling ad space on social media during the Super Bowl? Like, who?
I think so.
How does that work? I mean,
well, there's people like live streaming on social media during the Super Bowl, right? So I think it. I don't know. I didn't see it live. I just know that it wasn't on during the Super Bowl.
I'm so out of it. If people weren't getting slimed on Nickelodeon, while they were kicking field goals, like I watch all my football on the Nickelodeon stream.
I'm just trying to get on the new the Be Real platform, but before that's just trying to get on the new hotness.
Is that a thing? What are you talking about?
Be Real, it is like another social media platform. I think there's no filters, right? So you can't like paint yourself fake. You can't, there's like less glitz and glamour around, like less filters and shit like that. So it's more real, like authentic or something like that.
Oh, it's not sponsored by Cypress Hill.
No, it's not that guy that Carmen Electra used to fuck. It's a social media platform.
Sin Dog. Just keeping it real. Okay. And also in the news this week was an item that's interesting because most people know that San Francisco is falling apart and not a financially viable city to live in. It's full of rich tech billionaire industry types and homeless people. It's those two ends of the spectrum, and Tommy Wiseau and nobody else, right?
It feels like tech companies travel about the country to the tune of the Olympics, right? They're like, the Olympics are coming, and we're going to bring the Olympics to Brazil, right? Or an impoverished part of the world. And then they dump all of this money into that pin, and then the Olympics come and go, and then you're left with all of this infrastructure that nobody has any use for anymore. That seems to be what's happening in San Francisco. Is you've priced everybody out of it, and now it's a complete clusterfuck where the homeless are running wild.
Yeah, throw that. Yes. So San Francisco poised to apologize to Black residents for decades of discrimination. Yeah, no shit. But
they're all in Oakland.
What this article posits is that the African American Reparations Advisory Committee is asking that every Black resident of San Francisco receive $5 million each. And if you're a low income family, you get supplemental reparations on top of your $5 million. Does that sound like something that is going to ever happen to you?
No. Also, $5 million will get you like a cheeseburger and a milkshake on a Tuesday, and then your money's all gone. Also, the problem with shit like that is it will never be enough. That's the price tag we put on owning a person? Right?
Well,
that's what a person's worth. That's what their suffering is worth. That's what, systemic racism for hundreds of years is worth. Like, once you put a number on it like that, people are going to go, well, that's insulting. Or they're going to be like, okay, but I deserve more.
Mm-hmm.
Or, it's just not, it's just not going to work out.
Right. Well, the reparations committee started the negotiation at $5 million, and the city of San Francisco countered with a public apology. That's what
the city of San Francisco countered with the finger.
Yeah. But you're right, though, because I don't know where they get these numbers from. Because let's say that your great grandfather was a slave, and he has 2 kids who were slaves. Okay, and then those kids have 4 kids who weren't slaves, and then those kids have 5 kids each who weren't slaves, and now all of those people are supposed to get $5 million because they're related to 2 people that were slaves. Is that how that works? I don't know why they think that that's that they're owed that. In 2024, you're owed $5 million because you were a slave.
And this is just like way, now I'm just thinking through this or whatever. Slavery happened on the East Coast for the most part, right? The South.
The whole country was the East Coast, yes.
Huh?
The whole country was East Coast at that point, yes.
Right. So by the time you made it over to the West Coast, if you were African American or the descendants of slaves or something like that, I would say at this point, the number of people that, because then it becomes a matter of, well, okay, prove to me that you were a victim of slavery other than just general racism throughout the years, right? I mean, during, civil rights era and everything like that, you know, I mean, it's still racist. There's still racist shit constantly. But reparations for being a slave, it's just like, okay, well, now you have to prove to me that you were a slave before I give you $5 million. I'll happily hand over $5 million if you can prove to me that you were descended from slaves. But yeah, no, it's just it's problematic. It just there's so many more problems.
The point is that I think you made a good point that if you're west of the Mississippi and slavery happened all on the East Coast, if you're living in San Francisco, you're not entitled to reparations. You weren't even there. Move back to the East Coast, then we'll talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one. Speaking of systemic racism that is really plaguing the country, Black History Month of all months, Rockland County, New York school principal had to issue an apology to the parents of the children that attended this school because they had a deliciously offensive school lunch that we could see here on the screen. Aramark, who I thought just picked up 30 floor mats and filthy aprons. I thought they were like a work clothing, like uniforms company, but apparently they provide food that tastes like floor mats too, because Aramark decided that they were going to provide the school with chicken and waffles and watermelon for a school lunch. And I got to say, it looks pretty good. I wish that
I've never had watermelon cubes.
Just
Usually
it's a cube. Do you think it looks like a gourmet meal?
Melon balls, usually it's a melon baller. Cubes of watermelon look delicious.
Yeah, it all looks delicious. And what my problem is that Italian kids don't get offended when it's pizza day. If it was St. Patrick's Day and they were serving corned beef and cabbage, nobody would bat an eye.
Well,
but
do they serve chicken and waffles every week? Or is it only during February? Because then it's a fucking race. I mean, serve chicken and waffles. I mean, serve it every day for all I care.
Okay,
but
I've solved it. We're gonna serve corned beef and cabbage in February and chicken and waffles in March. And no more racism solved, right?
Yeah.
But Aramark had an apology in that article. We apologize for the unintentional insensitivity shown on February 1st, the first day of Black History Month. While our menu was not intended as a cultural meal, we acknowledge that the timing was inappropriate and our team should have been more thoughtful in its service. And I know, why someone would be offended by this, but I'm not going to lie. It looks good. I want to see if I can get my kids transferred to that school and bring me home some leftovers.
We apologize for the unintentional yet delicious racism that we served up.
And that's going to wrap up for the week, Joe. We're going to beg everybody to follow and comment on Instagram and rate and review wherever you listen to podcasts. I want to thank everybody that's on here supporting the Patreon. We couldn't do it without you. You keep the show going. This is Andy Q Public for Joe Sixpack saying,
stay sorry.